Knees and toes.
The shoulders have to do with anything?
Because of what you did to my bold prediction. Yes, I'm taking this too far, but I don't care. We're
The
going.
noise is great for those who are audio only.
What's up, everyone, and welcome into the Buffalo Sports Collective. It is Friday, January 30th, 2026. As always, I am PK, alongside my co-host Phil, episode 409. Remember, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at Buffalo Sports Collective, and on X and Blue Sky at Buffalo Sports Co. Don't forget to follow our channel wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out our website at buffalosportscollective.com. Phil's article, when it's written, after the game is done, will be out next Tuesday. Just getting ahead of it. And then look for the time breakdowns in the description of the show. This past week, we had Brandon Hooten on the show, a local podcaster in Colorado, not local here, about the Colorado Mammoth. He's also on the Runout, Outside the Box. He's all over the place in the lacrosse field. But we had him on to preview Colorado versus Buffalo. Get that a listen. That one came out on Wednesday. Thursday, Week 10 Power Rankings and BSC Pick'em came out. Once again, thank you to everybody participating in the BSC Pick'em. The numbers have dipped a bit in people participating, but don't worry, we're still pumping those out for the rest of the season. I'm still in dead last. So if you want to pile on, vote every Monday and Tuesday. On today's episode, we got Bills made a move at head coach. An in-house promotion. We'll talk about that. Our Bills bold predictions recap to close out the rest of the season, and then the Bills kind of go away for a bit unless they make big noises up until the draft time. Sabres versus Toronto. Phil and I differ on goals being scored in the game, but Sabres embarrass the Leafs, Leafs blow. Bandits versus Colorado preview, and then Week 10 of the NLL. But let's dive into the news that broke Tuesday, I think it was Tuesday. Joe Brady, head coach. The interview was on Thursday at noon. We both listened to that. I'm coming at this from two different angles. The first part of this doc was written when first news broke, and the second part of this doc is after the interview. So I'll combine them two, because I think I still feel both ways. When I first got the news of Joe Brady, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, the whole interview process is just a sham. They knew exactly who they wanted from the beginning. Like, you're once again promoting. You've seen it so many times between the Pagulas and their ownership of all these teams. I didn't like it. This is the worst the offense has been in years. I mean, to me, they promoted two of the most responsible people for that in Joe Brady and Brandon Beane. They interviewed two people late Monday, and then by noon on Tuesday, they had already hired Brady. So, like, were you actually serious about those two? Were you serious about the whole thing? Like, the playoff wall that Pagula was talking about, the OC for three of those playoff losses was Joe Brady. And to me, I think he has called some really, really great games. I think in the playoffs, he called two great games. Like, I had no complaints about majority of his calls. Yeah, every game, there's going to be a few calls that you want back or you think are dumb. But I think he's also had horrible games. The wide receivers, to me, everybody keeps talking about how he doesn't have talent in the wide receiver room. Remember, when he came out as OC, they still had Diggs. They still had Davis. And both of those players' careers took a direct nosedive as soon as Joe Brady took over. You bring in Curtis Samuel, Josh Palmer, Amari Cooper. All those guys have taken a downturn in their career since they've been here. So I just don't get it. From what I can kind of gather is they're pretty much saying this was Sean McDermott's issue. Like, the majority of the problems were because of Sean McDermott. And I left it at the Tuesday where I put the docket. I hate it here. And then Thursday came around in the interview, in the conversation. They introduced Joe Brady as the new head coach. I still don't like the hire. He was still not even in my top 5 of people that I wanted for this job. They didn't even interview 2 of the people that I was considering for this job, and Clint Kubiak and Cliff Kingsbury. I wanted either of those guys as well. My number one option was Kubiak. That was my number one. My number two was Dable, and my number three was Davis Webb. He wasn't even in my top three. But I get why they hired him. Dude, that guy's energy and that passion and his emotion, as much as I think Sean McDermott turned this franchise around and I was on board and still am on board with him getting fired, I can see why they brought in Brady. Because, I mean, I love that he thanks Sean McDermott. I think he was the only one in the whole organization that's kind of took time to say that and appreciate what he did. I mean, there's one line of Sean McDermott left this franchise in much better shape than he took it over with. So I'm in a better position than Sean McDermott was when he took over. All his flowers that he gave Sean McDermott. This is the first time I've seen this franchise do it. It took the franchise, 36 hours to even post like a thank you video. And Joe Brady's welcome on coach was done in like 3 seconds. I still don't like the hire. I still think it's going to be a failure. I still think Brandon Beane is a major issue on this team. But it was hard not to get all giddy by listening to him talk the way he did on Thursday. So I still hate the hire. I still don't think it's going to work. I still think that they're ruining Josh Allen's career here. But I'm leaving the door open for at least this is going to be entertaining with him on the head coaching position because he's a fiery guy. He said he likes to swear a lot and his passion comes through. His players say the same thing that he does. I'm excited to see him on the sidelines. If a call doesn't go his way, I want to see him flip out. That would be my decision. But again, I can't wait for the screen game to be just full effect. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got with Joe Brady as the new head coach. Don't like it, but I love the press conference he had on Thursday. Vastly different than last week.
Yeah, I don't know. I have nowhere to go with this team right now. They're very similar to me as the Sabres have been for so long, where I don't want to say I don't care. I would say my passion's all still there, but they have sucked all the hope in life out of me from this hiring and just they should have started over. We've already talked about this plenty of times. Like the fact that one aspect of this team got released and the rest of it stayed on is just a huge error in my eyes. I just don't see what Bean can possibly do to overhaul this roster with no money and then to bring a coach in that's already been here. Again, you're not really changing anything. And I know some people have said like, oh, how much did McDermott hold Brady back on the offense? Was there some of his influence on the offense? Can Brady like unleash something? Like, I don't know. I don't see any of it. It just, I feel like they needed such a fresh overhaul of this team and a fresh look and a fresh everything. Like they just needed to start over and they didn't do that. And because of that, I just don't see where this goes. And at this point, like I'm in a very wait and see kind of thing. Like I really don't, like my brother keeps trying to like throw positives at me about Brady and just the team. And I'm like, I got nothing. Like right now, I feel like I'm so negative about this team. I don't want to be, but it's hard not to be. And I feel like right now, like I'm just like this year with the Sabres, you and I were like, whatever happens, happens. Like I'm done. I'm over, like trying to get my hopes up for them. And that's kind of where I'm at with the Bills. And again, it's the same way with the Sabres. Like, do I think they make a Super Bowl next year because of the moves they made in the offseason so far? No. Like, I just don't see how this pushes you further than the playoff wall you've been at this whole time. So to me, I'm just, until they find a way to get there, and maybe they do, I just don't see it. And until they get to the Super Bowl, I'm just like, here we are again. Like, yeah, it's great. Like you've said so many times, like the bar has been raised so much higher with this Bills team now that making playoffs isn't good enough anymore. Winning a game in the playoffs isn't good enough anymore. Like it's Super Bowl or bust every single year. And every time they don't do it, it's that much more depressing and that much more of a letdown. And just, I don't see with these couple of changes they've made so far in the offseason how it happens. Like I do agree with you, Brady. I feel like will be a bit infectious. He sounds fun. He sounds amped to be here. Like it's exciting for him, but I would have loved just a complete overhaul. Like it's just so hard to get jazzed about what they've done so far with like, and they started okay. Like we said, like we were happy with McDermott going, but he was lower on my list than Bean was. Like Bean was number 1, McDermott probably number 2, and then with him, the rest of the coaching staff and start fresh. And because they're keeping 2/3 of the problems around, like it doesn't make any sense. I just don't see where this team goes. And as soon as, like you said, like as soon as he was announced, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like it just doesn't make any sense. It like the again, like main pieces of the failure of this organization and team, you promoted. Like I just don't get where you go from there. And one of our buddies posted recently from Twitter the reminder of NFL teams promoting a coordinator to head coach and how it's gone. And I won't go over everybody, but only one coach out of all of them had a winning record in his 2 years, and it was Mike Mularkey, and he was 18-14. So he didn't even do that well. The longest one that lasted was Frank Reich with the Colts at 6 years, and he was 41-43. Doug Marrone was 4 years at 22-42, and the rest gets worse from there. So the history, like you've talked a lot about it, and this is why I'm bringing it up. Like you wanted McDermott gone because the history shows when you've had the same head coach, same QB, after a certain number of years, it just doesn't happen. Like that, you hit a wall and you need to switch it up. Like it's not really possible after that. History has shown promoting a coordinator to a head coach does not breed success. So I don't know. We'll see. There's nothing else we can do except wait and see and find out what happens with this team. But it seems not great, and their strength of schedule next year. I did try to look it up because I remember seeing the schedule was tough, but the opponent winning percentage from this year going into next year, it's the 8th in theory hardest schedule going into next year. So your easy ride this year with a lot of those games that were like, okay, you should be able to beat this team. Your schedule is real tough next year, and you lost the division this year. So it doesn't get easier. And now it's tough. It's tough to see where this team goes from here. The Dolphins, for funsies, have the number 2 hardest schedule next year. So good luck to them.
Yeah, I mean, Brady said all the right things in the press conference, got everybody hyped up, but it still goes back to, I mean, some of the rumors out there with Jim Leonard for DC. He runs a 3-4. This team has been strictly 4-3. That means you're going to have to rework a bunch of pieces on the defensive end. I can see them reworking the entire defense once again, putting all the resources on the defensive side of the ball and not giving Josh Allen any help and just say, hey, the offense is fine. We just need Keon Coleman to take that next step. If Galton Kincaid's healthy, they're going to say the same lines they said this year and just run it back. And what's also
what resources
frustrating,
are you pumping into this poor defense? What you don't have? I know they can make cap space and all that, but there's players on this team you have to sign that are big pieces that are going to cost a lot of money. They're already in the negative in cap space, and you can use draft capital, but draft capital doesn't get you to the Super Bowl this year. Like
we've also
rookie
seen
coming in,
his pedigree drafting,
right?
And it's not good.
Especially, I mean, anybody really, but like you said so many years now, like even though he drafts decent players or good players, he's not drafting exceptional standout players that make a huge difference that will drive a team over a playoff wall into the Super Bowl. Like rookies coming into this season aren't going to be the reason you make the Super Bowl and make that next jump. A free agent could be. You don't have the money to do anything in free agency. And like you're saying, if you're switching your defense and you're going to pump all these resources, the limited resources you have, back into the defense, you're like you said, they're going to be like, okay, Coleman can take that next step. Palmer will be healthy all season. They didn't have he wasn't out there much this year, so he'll be fine. Kincaid, who's never been healthy once in his career, he'll play all the games somehow, and everything will be lovely on the offense, even though it hasn't been forever. And we'll pump all the resources into the defense, and we've shown that they have zero ability to pump resources into the defense. I mean, how many big free agent signings has he brought in that have done nothing impressive over and over and over? I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah, I'll close it out like this. My biggest worry with just promoting Joe Brady as a first-time head coach is they're going to give him 3 years to figure it out. That means if you don't make it to the Super Bowl, Josh Allen is 33. That means he's probably going to get another head coach at the age of 33. then they're going to have to figure that out again. And it's probably going to be a new OC. It's going to be a new OC if Joe Brady doesn't figure this out. And then Josh Allen is on the down part of his career. Like that to me is why I wanted a different set of eyes on this team. Dable, that was the best the offense has ever looked under him. And I know the wide receiver room was 10 times better than what Joe Brady has had to deal with. But again, it still goes back to, and I hate that people haven't really hammered this home. They keep saying that he doesn't have the talent in the wide receiver room, but he did when he took over. He had Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs proved it in Houston before he got injured, because don't think like Stephon Diggs just fell off a cliff. He didn't. He was performing outstanding in Houston before he got hurt. That proved that Stephon Diggs still had it, and it proved that Joe Brady couldn't coach a wide receiver. Like, to me, that's the biggest thing to hit home is, yeah, you don't have any talent in the wide receiver room. I'm not arguing against that. But when he took over, he had a number 1 top 10 wide receiver in the entire NFL and just didn't use him. Like, the targets went away when Joe Brady took over. So I don't want to keep hearing is he's never had any wide receiver talent. He did, and he failed to find ways to get him. I remember coming on here and just saying, like, I don't get why Stephon Diggs is completely written out. We were having conversations on, did he hit that wall? And then he goes to Houston and he didn't hit that wall. Just Joe Brady didn't know how to use them. I still think a lot of these pieces, Joe Brady doesn't know how to use them. You see Khalil Shakir's depth of target, I believe it was, that's been going around. His highest was when he was a rookie. Guess what? It's gone down every single season he's been in the NFL. And guess what? Who has been his OC all 3 of those years? It's been Joe Brady. Like, I almost wish that he wouldn't have taken on the head or the play calling. If he was strictly head coach, I would be feeling 10 times better. If he brought in his own OC that let him take care of that, and he was strictly the head coach, I'd feel so much better about just he's the overseer of everything. That's fine.
Yep.
But the reason that he's still sticking with making the play calls on offense, it's given me very little hope because I know the resume. And I'll hammer home One Bills Live. My God, they're doing gymnastics defending this team over and over. They literally said that the media was asking questions and pounding the head coach, or I'm sorry, Terry Pagula and Brandon Beane for clickbait. That was the exact words said by Steve Tasker. Like, it's ridiculous, the gymnastics they're doing. I know Terry Pagula signed your checks, but come on, guys. Like, it wasn't that bad. Terry Pagula is just being human. Suck a butt. Like, come on. It's embarrassing. So I hate the hire. The press conference got me hyped up, but my feelings towards this are so low right now about what the future holds for this team, because the guy that builds it in Brandon Beane still can't draft, still doesn't pay the right players. He pays too many good, not great players. And him still blaming Josh Allen's contract on why he can't do it. You paid Curtis Samuel, Josh Palmer, Gregory Rousseau, like all these middle tier players add up, and that's the reason that you don't have any cap space. That's the reason you can't go out and get a number 1 wide receiver. That's the reason you can't go to get a number 1 defensive end, is because you're playing good, not great players. I've been saying it for 5 freaking years on this show. You have too many good, not great players, and I don't see a way out of it. So I think
like Dawson Knox is a top 3 paid tight end in the league.
He is the number 6 highest paid Buffalo Bill right now. It's ridiculous. And he's a part-time backup tight end.
Yeah. And then even for Brady, like, I just keep going back to this, and like, you had Josh Allen with the ball in overtime. All you needed was a field goal, and you couldn't figure it out.
They've had Josh Allen down with the ball 3 straight playoffs, and they failed all 3 times. And I understand. I still think Joe Brady called a great playoff game versus Denver.
Yes.
Like, there were a few plays that you would want back, but every game there
OT
is.
Series,
Josh Allen is the reason that you lost that game, but Josh Allen is still the reason that you were in that game. I'm not blaming in the Denver game, but there were so many just like, I mean,
how many games throughout the year was it just hero mode Josh Allen in the fourth quarter down 10 points, and he's got to come up with a miracle in the last like 5 minutes? Like, everyone was saying like, oh, look at the stats. They look pretty good this year. Like, yeah, it all happened in the fourth quarter when you're down 15 points and you got to come out with like these Hail Marys. And all of a sudden, I feel like the one game they had like 200 yards of offense in the fourth quarter. That's not a good sustained offense. That's, oh my gosh, we got to hurry and catch up and look at Josh Allen take over a game. What happened the first three quarters throughout the entire season where you couldn't do anything? And all of a sudden, just the fourth quarter comebacks were fantastic. But I mean, I'm sure if you look at it, not most of, but a lot of their big yardage and these comebacks and their points all came in the fourth quarter. Like the first three quarters were just, they had no idea how to play football. And all of a sudden, you're like, well, we're down by 14 with 2 minutes left. I guess we got to bring out the offense, which was more oftentimes than not Josh running for his life and just making an incredible play. And then they're like, oh, look at that, you had 250 yards of offense. Like, yeah, I mean, in theory, sure, but not really.
Yeah, Phil and everybody listening, hold me to this. Don't let me fall back into the trap. I'm not going to get hyped once the season rolls around for this team. Hold me to my comments there. But we'll move on. 3 bold predictions that we made in the preseason, and they went as well as the Buffalo Bills season went and the head coaching search went. I'll go over my 3 really quick because we're already 20 minutes in. We got to start cranking this out. Josh Palmer will lead the team in receiving yards. He went 22 for 37 targets, 303 and 0 touchdowns. He was 7th in receptions with 22, 6th in targets at 37, and 5th in the yards at 303. Season long, he would be just over 31 catches, just over 52 targets, and 429.5 yards. That didn't go well.
Pay him a lot of money, PK. Pay him a lot of money to be on this
good,
team.
Not great player. You paid a ton of money to. He's probably going to be on the team next year. My second one is by year's end, Daquan Jones will be the odd man out in the defensive tackle position. Versus the Jags, first round of the playoffs, he was second in defensive tackle snaps at 70%. I was wrong about that one as well. Maybe I would have been right if Ed Oliver was stayed healthy the whole time and TJ Sanders was anything, but I was dead wrong on that one. And then my last one was Terrell Bernard would be in All-Pro. I believe I saw that he got hurt in the preseason or training camp, so he was not healthy all season, but I was still dead wrong. He only played in 12 games, and some of those he left early. 44 solo tackles, 65 total tackles, no sacks, 7 tackles for losses, 3 passes defended, 1 interception, and 2 forced fumbles. Fumble recoveries. I remember saying, okay, he had a great season. He just needs to uptick it a little. He took a nosedive and fell flat on his face. All my bold predictions were not even close. Not even like I bunted with the bases loaded and they got a triple play. That's what happened here. I was terrible with my bold predictions this year for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, it doesn't help when the team doesn't play very good. So my first one was Kincaid will lead the team in receptions. He was second, so not terrible. But he was second with 39. Shakir was first with 72, so not really that close. But yeah, most of Shakir's were like 2 yards off the line. All right, it's easy to rack up those receptions.
Sometimes it was 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Even easier to catch the ball. He was third in targets, 49, second in yards with 571. So not terrible. First in receiving touchdowns with 5. That sounds like a joke of a number one. He played in just 12 games, but season long he would have been 55 catches on 69 targets with 808 yards and 7. Honestly, not a tear. Like if for a tight end, that'd be a good season. Like if he could do that and actually stay healthy, like Kincaid was fine this year. He's just injured, and he was injured last year, and he hasn't played a full season yet. So when he's on the field, he is a very good tight end, but he hasn't been able to be on the field for a whole season yet. So that is very concerning. Joey Bosa will rediscover his glory years. My goodness, he did not. 15 games played, 17 solo tackles, 29 tackles, 5 sacks, second to Rousseau's 7. So I don't know, on a team that is horrible at sacking the QB, he did something. 9 tackles for loss, led the team, not terrible. 2 passes defended and 5 forced fumbles, led the team, not terrible. But not great and not what the Bills brought him in to do. And the amount of times I watched him get faked out by a QB or running back as he just ran the wrong way completely was depressing. And the last one, a depressing one, which is easy one to hit this year, the Bills will not be in the Super Bowl. and they were not in the Super Bowl. So yay, I hit one, and it was out of all the ones I wanted to miss, that was the one, but nailed it.
So this will close out the Buffalo Bills season and our coverage for the season, unless something big happens. If they bring in Jim Schwartz, we'll talk about it.
I'll
if
say
they
now
bring
they
in
need an OC and a DC, so
yeah,
we'll bring it up when it happens.
We'll sprinkle it in when it comes up, but otherwise, our coverage for the Buffalo Bills will kind of go dormant for a bit here because again, we're a Bandits-centered show. We talk about the Bills and the Sabres when it needed to be, and yes, Bills are turning into the Sabres where I don't want to talk about them anymore because I just ramble and rant. Sabres though, Toronto,
a team you do want to talk about.
They stink. The Toronto Maple Leafs stink. Buffalo went in there and won 7-4. Dahlin had a hattie. He's up to 11 goals. Doan, Tage, Tuck, and Quinn were the other goal scorers. UPL was 3 of 5 and then left hurt. Ellis came in and shut the door. Buffalo was 1 for 2 on the power play. Didn't commit any penalties, so they were 0 for on the penalty kill. Somehow, Phil, the Sabres keep getting away with it. They're committing crimes and not getting caught. This 3-goalie system somehow has, ever since Kevin Adams went out the door, this 3-goalie system has worked flawlessly because Lyon was hurt and they had 2 goalies. Then Ellis was hurt and they had 2 goalies. Now UPL is hurt and they got 2 goalies. Like, they haven't had to make any moves by bringing up Devin Levi because this 3-goalie system, which is stupid, that was one of the things that Yarmo said he needs to fix, didn't have to fix it because somebody always got hurt. This is like the Buffalo Bandits all over again where somebody needs to be activated, so somebody else got hurt. Like, it worked. Like, these moving the chairs around perfectly. I don't know how they're doing it. Josh Doan gets a contract. I absolutely loved it. It comes on under $7 million for long term. I mean, he's played, 50 games here, and he's already a hometown favorite kid. Like, he wants to be here. He's young. Like, you buy up 4 years of his UFA status. Like, absolutely love it. Samuelson is having an insane year. They're playing right now. He scored again. Like, he's got 32 points on this season right now. What? Like, everybody wanted him bought out. I was praying for somebody to just give us a hockey puck, a used hockey puck for him. The depth is absolutely killing it on this team. And what's hilarious is we complimented Kevin Adams so many times on the trades that he made, the ads and free agencies he's made, the draft picks that he's made. They just didn't all come together. I think, honestly, this team can be figured out on one simple thing. They had zero confidence and trust in Kevin Adams to help them with anything. And now that they actually have a GM that they have faith in, they're busting their butts. He's done nothing. He hasn't had to do anything. But
no, I know.
They've brought him in to actually believe that, okay, we're making a run. We believe, Yarmo, if we're sniffing playoffs, we're going to make an ad. Think of the big losing streaks, and Kevin Adams did zero. Like, his biggest addition was Eric Robinson for a 7th-round pick. Like, that was the biggest move that he made to get them out of the losing streak. Remember when they were in that playoff race and missed it by 1 point with Don Granado? What moves did they make? Oh, yeah, zero. Like, so all the moves that he made, like Ryan McLeod, great ad. Jason Zucker in free agency, great. Alex Lyon this year, great. Samuelson's contract looks great now. You get Tage to that contract. The one biggest knock is like Josh Norris right now, and that one's just because of injury. Like, every move that he's pretty much made
has been
amazing. Like, it's been insane.
And Kesselring, I mean, like, to get Doan and Kesselring, I know Kesselring's been injured and not amazing, but to get both of them for Peterka, and Doan's already past what Peterka was on this team and then some, and you got a defenseman on top of that, amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we loved all the moves that Kevin Adams made. Like, we praised him on this show, and we've said multiple times, I thought he was making great moves. It's just not working. It could have been as simple as the team just didn't believe that when the time came, Kevin Adams was gun shy and he didn't want to make a move to disturb this team or cost the future or whatever it is. So I think their playing style here is as simple as they're buying into Yarmo as their GM, that if we're right there, we have trust that this GM will go get us the help we need to get us over the edge. So that's the only explanation I have for why, like, because that big 10-game winning streak, they were 3 games into the winning streak when Kevin Adams got fired. Like, I can't explain this besides their faith in this current GM and their lack of faith and trust in what Kevin Adams was doing with this franchise. That's the only explanation I have.
Yeah, I feel like Kevin Adams to that he was just so like wishy-washy as just a human being. Like he did some things pretty well, but like even when he went out to trade, like he was always hesitant, like you just said, like he was hesitant to like give up the youth, give up the picks. Like he was like, no, we got to build the future. Like I don't want to give up any of that stuff. And he would always say that. And like as a team, you're like, okay, so if we need something, he's not going to do it. And it's hard to know how much was really about Pagula as far as like spending to the cap. But as a team, seeing that your team isn't spending to the cap and is barely getting through the cap floor, like that doesn't instill any confidence in myself. I'm like, why are we not like getting us the help when we have the money to get us the help? And he wasn't being able to do it. And again, don't know how much of that was the ownership versus him. I would assume if he had the reins, he would spend to the cap because why wouldn't you? But like Yarmo comes in, I feel like he just brings a different aura about himself. Like he's like everyone said, like he's all business. He's no nonsense. Like came in there, like went to the locker room, said, "Listen, none of your jobs are safe. Like you guys better start shaping up," kind of thing. Like I feel like he's just the attitude that the team needs right now. Whereas Kevin Adams, while he made great statistical moves and made great moves on paper as a GM person, I feel like he was just very blah. They just like you said, like didn't instill any trust or confidence in the team that he'd be able to make some things happen if he needed to. And I feel like they felt he probably couldn't or wasn't able to. And like you said, now that, and again, we'll see when things start trickling more than just the Doan contract, which nice job, Yarmo. Fantastic. But as like trades and things start happening, if they do, we'll see how much free reign he really has. But like him coming in and saying like, this is my team, I'm allowed to do whatever I want, I can spend to the cap. Like, even if it's not true, which I hope it is at this point, especially seeing what's happening, I feel like, again, telling that to the players, even if it's not true, looks good to them. Like, oh, okay, like you can, like you just said, like you can get us the help if we need more help on this team to make that final push. Whereas before, I feel like they just felt like they were perpetually going to be a losing team forever, and they were never going to get the true support they needed to get themselves out of that. And now they have the support of the GM and the team that Kevin Adams built has put it all together.
So the Sabres are winning 2-0 right now after one. And looking at it, Montreal's also winning. Detroit's losing in the first to the Capitals. That helps. But yeah, if you're looking at the standings, Buffalo, Tampa Bay is number one right now. 51 games played, 70 points. Buffalo's behind Detroit, but they have 2 games in hand and 4 points behind. Like I said, Detroit's currently losing, Buffalo's currently winning, so that bridges the gap, and Buffalo will still maintain a 2-point lead or 2 game advantage and 2 in hand. Montreal and Boston are right behind them at 65 points, but Buffalo's got games in hand over them. And then it's 59, 57, 57, 57, 57, 57, 56 points. Buffalo can't let up. Like, as good as they're doing right now, they're not getting any help behind them.
No.
They got a bit of a buffer by a 6-point buffer over the first team out in Florida. But Montreal and Boston are literally just point for point with you. So they got Montreal on Saturday. They're facing LA right now. They got Florida on Monday, Tampa Bay on Tuesday, Pittsburgh on Thursday before a 20-day break with the Olympics. This is one of those times where I wish there wasn't a break because you want to keep this mojo going, but it might be hitting at the perfect time where everybody that's got nagging injuries can get healthy. Kulik apparently
except the goalies.
Yeah, except for the goal. But Kulik apparently has been skating for the last 4 or 5 days, so he's slowly working his way back. It's going to take a while because he hasn't played in so long and it was blood clots. But Josh Norris, I hold him out until after the Olympics. Give him that full time to get fully healthy. Kessel Ring, you have UPL that's going to be getting healthy. So it's going to be very interesting to see what this team looks like after the Olympics. But, I mean, keep stacking these points here, guys. And
the fact that they're doing this well without Norris and without Kulik, like those are 2 big names for this team. Like those aren't nothing.
Top 6
like,
forwards,
those are players that they expect to be top 6 forwards on this team and to be doing as well as they are. Like you said, the depth is there. The team Adams built, great job, Adams. You did a fantastic job.
Hopefully he's somewhere where palm trees are and he's just sipping a mocktail right now.
I wonder, for one, I don't know how much longer his contract was. Like, I don't know how it works with GMs. Like, is he still getting paid by the Sabres?
I think his contract was up at the end of this year, if I remember correctly.
Okay, so he's getting paid through the end of this year. Like, I do wonder if, because you and I joke about it all the time, but I wonder if he's upset that the team that he built is doing so well without him.
You have to be.
Or
like you have to be just stewing watching this team like, what the hell, guys? Like, he's done nothing to this team, and they're playing how I envisioned.
But, like, do you think he's still, like, cheering for the Sabres? Like, do you think he's still, like, deep down, like, I still want them to succeed? Or is he just, like, all bitter that this is the team he built and now they're doing everything without him?
I feel like you got to root for them to win the Stanley Cup, so then you can go, like, I built that freaking team, and
I feel like this is, like,
Cup team.
Like, I don't know what his future holds or what he wants to do with his life, but this has to be a good resume builder of, like, that's the team that's doing amazing right now in the NHL. Like, I built that from nothing to what they are now. Like, even if it didn't work out for him, like, it's still the team he built. Like, that has to look decent to another team.
That
would
be the biggest sales pitches. I might not have been there when they took off, but look at, they've done nothing. That was my freaking team.
That's my roster that I built.
Yeah, he's got to be cheering it on. But we'll go over the two games, the Sunday game, the Saturday game, and the game that's currently going on right now. You'll know that one before we do. But before we dive into the second half of the show, let's go over our sponsor of the episode, Tap That Tap Room.
Tap That Tap Room is at 363 Delaware Street in Tonawanda, New York. They are still Buffalo's first women-owned self-pour bar featuring 30 consistently rotating taps offering a variety of ciders, beers, sours, seltzers, and malt beverages.
Still, and that will be always their title because nobody can be better than that. Friday, 5 to 7 is happy hour. Get down there, try your new favorite beer or cider or sours or whatever the 30 rotating taps contain. Go find your new favorite. 9 p.m. on Saturday is the Bandits watch party. Get down there. It's the best place to watch the Buffalo Bandits. I mean, if you're not going to Colorado in the Loud House, go there because they can listen on the TV. Everybody there knows why you're there. It's to watch the Buffalo Bandits. You're not going to be anybody there that's saying, hey, turn on the hockey game. No, you're watching the Bandits there. And then Saturday before that, 3 to 6, it's the Sit, Stay, and Sip adoption event with Open Arms. This one hits a little home, or close home to me. Home close? What is it?
It's close to home.
There it is. Thank you. Our rescue dog, Molly, was actually from Open Arms. My parents' dog, Theo, is from Open Arms. We have a long history through Open Arms, so we love them. We don't work through them right now, but we've always watched what they do and really love them. So if you just want to go play with some pups, play with some older dogs, go head down there. I mean, sip and pet. That's all you got to do. But yeah, anything you can do for them, 3 to 6 or any other time of the year, rescue, volunteer, foster, whatever you could do. A lot of animals need it. You know, Phil's a cat guy. You can foster cats. I'm a dog guy. You can foster dogs. Anything for helping animals in need. We're big fans of that. And one of the events, Saturday, 3 to 6, go stop and play with some dogs. It's going to be cold this weekend. Stay inside, stay warm with some nice beverages. They got a ton of stuff coming up in February. To find out what that events are or what those events are, go to their Facebook page and find out what's on tap and what's on deck. Check out tapthattaproom.com. Phil, the Bandits roster crunch was real. We weren't lying about it, and moves had to be made. They released Ron John and Mike Triolo. Mike Triolo found a new job. He's already in Georgia. In doing so, they made room for both Zach Belter and Matt Spanger. There's one practice roster spot still open. So theoretically, they could bring Ron John back to the practice squad. But considering Coltrane Tyson has been practicing, he was questionable, then out, then questionable, then out on the injury report. I think he's going to be the one that goes to the practice roster. That would be my best guess, which means Desnu would be the only one on the IR right now. To me, I'm more surprised that they couldn't find a taker for Ron John just based on his name around the league, and everybody needs more lefty defensemen / transition players. I was thinking maybe Rochester or Halifax are the two names that just pop off the top of my head right then. But maybe both teams kind of saw like, Buffalo's got the roster crunch. Why would we give you any pieces when we know you're probably going to have to release him? So we can just sign him later. Currently, as of this recording, he's still sitting out there. So we'll see what happens. But Buffalo's getting a lot healthier. Getting Zach Belter back on that left-hand side with Mitch DeSnew still out is massive, especially versus Colorado coming up. And then seeing Matt Spanger, who I was very impressed with before he went down to injury last year. Remember, 2 seasons ago, I hated his play, and I didn't think Buffalo would re-sign him. They re-signed him, and then I loved his play last year. And then he goes down with a non-contact injury. First time seeing him since late February last year. I'm interested to see if he can help the transition game because he's been known to push the ball in transition. That's an area of Buffalo's game that desperately needs to be improved on. So I think getting both Belter and Spanger back for releasing a Mike Trillo, which we kind of saw the writing on the wall for that one, makes a lot of sense to get a lot healthier on the back end that, has already been really, really good.
Do you think so? First off, shout out to us for getting the Triolo part right. Good job to both of us. Do you think Spanger will play right away, or do you think he's going to be a healthy scratch early?
I think he's sliding right back in. I think Nielsen and probably Whitty or McCannell would be the healthy scratches on the back end. I think Spanger slides right in.
Even with the snoo out for lefties as far as Spanger goes?
Now that we know officially Dylan Robinson is a lefty, so you would have Whitty or McCannell. You got Belter, you got Wires and Robinson. That's 4. I think they would go 5 righties, 4 lefties.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see both of them back. It's definitely a game you need both of them.
Yeah,
I think, but it's going to be like, I feel like you can't expect much from Spanger right now. Like you said, it's been the first time he's going to be playing in a game in so long. We've talked about how many of these players that we've continually said, like, oh, wait till later in the season for them to really get going. It's going to take a little bit for them to get going again. Spanger's one of those guys coming off a massive injury like that. Even if he's had time to ramp up in practice, games are wildly different than practice. So for him to step back in and be at NLL speed, like it's going to be bumpy, I think, to start. He's not going to come out and be just electric right away. I mean, I think they're going to slow play him. If he is in the roster, I think he'll get obviously less shifts than other players who have been there for a little bit, but I think it'll be good to get him in the rotation. I think he'll be a good addition to this team again, and I'm excited to see him out there. I think Belter is obviously the bigger deal. They don't really have that shutdown defender on the left side right now to the degree that Belter is and the style that Belter plays. I think he's a massive part of that left side, so he's going to be a really, really big deal to get back and healthy. So excited to look forward to him coming back as well.
So we'll go over the game now. Buffalo versus Colorado. Buffalo's won the last 3 regular season matchups. I think 4 overall, dating back to when they won Game 3 of the finals. But Colorado's on a 4-game winning streak. Colorado is coming in 5-2. Buffalo's 3-3. Buffalo's 5th in the league, 11.5 goals for. Colorado's down at 10th at 10.14. But take that with a grain of salt because they've had 2 really bad games before their offense came alive. Buffalo's goals against 10.33, which is tied for 6th. Colorado's down in 2nd. I should say up in 2nd, down in 2nd, one of the two. 8.86 goals against. Buffalo's power play still number 1 at 69%. Very nice one. 9 for 13. In 2 games, they have not had an opportunity. Colorado's down in 9th at 42%. Power or penalty kill. Buffalo's 4th at 61, just 61.9. And then Colorado's down at 7th at 56.4. You look at the shots on goal. I mean, it's less than 4 shots difference. Buffalo's up at 4th. Colorado's down at 10th. But then shots against. Buffalo's still in 1st, allowing just over 45 shots per game. Colorado's down in 8th, just under 52. So I think the numbers tell a different story than what has been happening recently. I think if you were to flip these numbers kind of, especially with the goals for, I think it would make more sense. But Colorado's coming in at the hotter team, winning 4 straight. Buffalo's coming in colder on a 2-game losing streak.
Yeah, before I get super into that, it just Colorado's played 1 more game, and they have 31 chances on the power play to Buffalo's 13.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane difference there. And even the penalty kill, though, 21-39. Just Buffalo's whole special teams so far has been very, very
Buffalo
strange this
loves
season.
playing 5-on-5 or
yeah,
4-on-4 action.
Either they're both going or no one's going. But to me, this game scares me quite a bit. Buffalo's has not been historically, I'd have to look up all the numbers and everything, but it doesn't seem like they're very good when they come off a bye. They've talked about it a lot. They don't like coming off byes. They don't like having bye weeks. They want to just keep playing. And they've lost 2 in a row, had a week off. So now you're stewing on that loss. So, like, on one hand, that kind of helps because you're sitting there kind of angry and it's festering for 2 weeks and the other teams are still playing. But Colorado is coming in extremely hot. They're one of the best teams in the league as of right now. And I think this game is really interesting as far as dynamics of the two teams. You have Buffalo, who needs a win. They don't want to go to 3-4. Like, they're in not desperation mode by any means, but they need a win to get back on top and keep things moving forward with their season. And Colorado's in a position where not only do they want to stay on top, they want to prove that we can beat a Buffalo at this point right now in the season. Like, they're that hot that a team like Buffalo that, like you just said, they've struggled against recently in past years, they can beat them. So I think if Buffalo is able to, even if Buffalo can squeak out a victory, I think it's a really big moral victory for Buffalo with how well Colorado's playing right now. And if Colorado gets a win, you just knocked off last year's champions, and your 5-2 record not only goes to 6-2, but I feel like you establish yourself even more as a team to really be scared of that. Like, okay, we can even go out and beat Buffalo. Yes, it's at home for Colorado. I think it's just a tough situation for Buffalo to go into. They got to go out west. They're coming off 2 losses. They're coming off a bye, and the team they're playing against is red hot. It's just not a great situation for Buffalo to go into.
Last year, Buffalo dominated this one towards the end of the season. It was April 5th that they won 15-10. Wasn't really close the entire game, but both teams are so different. I'm not even really going to go over that game.
Yeah.
We'll just dive right into the players that you're expecting to see for Colorado. Andrew Q, Will Malcolm, Thomas Vela on the left-hand side. Andrew Hughes only played in 3 games, but he just coming off a 10-point game. Will Malcolm's kind of leading that offense with 41 points. And then with the righties, Jack Hanna has played in 3 games, 22 points. Dylan McIntosh came over from Vancouver in a trade in the offseason. He's got 12 points. Braden Saris is coming on strong in a role that he's needed because Ryan Lee went down, and then Owen Ron is kind of taken over another spot on the righty side there. So they're going to likely go 4 righties, 3 lefties. I think that's another big reason why getting a Zach Belter back in the lineup is so big, because there's going to be more fresh legs on the righty side, and having Jack Hanna there is very dangerous. I mean, he's lighting the lamp since he came to Colorado. But this offense is led by the 3-headed horseman here in Will Malcolm, Andrew Q, and Jack Hanna. If you can contain one of those 3, mission accomplished. But it's going to be very difficult to control even one of those 3. But their offense has been thriving right now. They just scored 15 points versus a Doug Jamieson and Oshawa, who has been pretty good on the defensive end last game. This team has looked very different since Jack Hanna came onto this team. All I'll say is I'm not wishing injury, and I hate that Ryan Lee got hurt. But can you imagine what this offense would look like with Lee and Hanna on the right-hand side, and you got Q and Malcolm on the left-hand side? That would be one of the best offenses in the entire league.
Not to mention their defense and Ward are playing amazing. Like,
yeah,
talk about just I mean, we'll get that, but like, talk about a balanced team if they had everybody. Not that they aren't even still. Like, Hanna, Q, and Malcolm are definitely doing enough for sure to keep this team afloat. And Q's the one. I know Malcolm has the 41 points, but right now Q's the one that scares me the most. He has 15 points in his last 2 games coming back from injury. Like I said in our bold predictions, that he's a dark horse for Offensive Player of the Year because he's currently number 2 in the league in points per game. Like, just because he's only played 3 games, it's easy to be like, oh, well, 22 points. Like, if you look at the total of it, it doesn't look that great compared to Malcolm's 41, but what he's been able to do in the few games he's been in, he's been ridiculous out there. So to me, he's the one, if I had to pick one of them because of how hot he is, and literally, like you just said, coming off a 10-point game, he's the one I kind of want to key in on, and then hope Malcolm and Hanna just don't explode. And then even like you said, like, their depth players are still getting goals here and there to kind of keep the rest of the team afloat. With, I mean, Vele 5, and then McIntosh 7, Saris 4, and Ron 5. And I think, did Ron have a hat trick recently?
Yeah, he had a hattie last game.
I thought so. So again, like, that's a situation where he has that ability in him. So now you have to keep an eye on that, because he can go off in the game, and you don't want the secondary scoring hurting you just as much as the starters. So as much as the Bandits defense and Vince really don't concern me because they've been this most steady aspect of this team despite having the injuries they've had, this is a team that's going to be pretty hard to contain right now with how youthful they are and how well they are playing.
Jack Hanna's actually played in 4 games, not 3. I apologize. I said 3. It's actually 4. I was looking at it and I read 3. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's got one more than Q. But I agree. I think it will be interesting to see if there's any nagging injuries because coming out of the bye, you never really know. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, you had Belter and Benny both questionable. Benny came back and played in that last one, but he's older. Paul Dawson's older. I'm not saying any of these guys are actually hurt, but a lot of time has passed in this bye week, that practices and weather, and these guys have normal jobs.
I believe they said that a lot of them weren't able to get to the most recent practice again because of all the weather that Buffalo's been having, and I think obviously Canada as well.
So it will be interesting to see what the shakeup is on the back end. I would probably guess that McCannell's in and Whitty's out just based on their track record of who's in, who's out back there, because Ron used to be the healthy scratch back there and with Dooley. So it will be interesting to see who D's up and who's in the lineup back there. But again, Hannah's the main righty. If you're able to, I would almost try to shut down one side of the field, like put Dylan Robinson and Zach Belter on Jack Hanna, shut him down, make others on the right-hand side beat you, and then you're pretty much facing, a very strong lefty. Like, I'm not saying this is an easy job, but I think that would be, and I'm sure most teams feel this way, is if you can shut down Jack Hanna and force them to play one-side offense, I think you stand a very good chance. But I agree that the Bandits defense has not been the issue. I think they've been very, very good the last, 7.5 quarters? I'm sorry, 6.5 quarters, because they turned it up in the second half or second half of the second quarter versus Rochester. There we go. But I think they've been very, very good this year. And I think in a matchup versus Colorado here, which I was not expecting to say this at the start of the season, I'm much more worried about Buffalo's offense than I am their defense. And again, if you can limit what Hanna does and force them to play just lefty ball, I think you stand a very good chance. And as you're looking at the defense here, I mean, TJ Comizio has not played this year. Will he get in this one? We'll see. Owen Down, 15th overall pick last year, has played really well. Tim Edwards has taken his game to another level now that he doesn't have to do the faceoff with Pilato back there. That's going to be an interesting matchup because he's been very good at the faceoff dot. Him versus Connor Farrell, that's a big matchup versus Connor Farrell. It's a big-time faceoff guy, and it's a rookie. Can you get the edge over him? Jordan Gillis is in the lineup. Dylan Hess is a rookie. He's playing very well. Robert Hope, you already know. Connor Knock is a rookie back there who's taking his game to the next level. Jalen Chaster, if he's out, he was put on the PUP last game. If he's out, that's a big check mark for the Buffalo Bandits that don't have to worry about him staying and playing and in the transition game. He's got 4, 8, and 12, but a lot of that has come when he's had to play up out the front door with Andrew Q not there. But to me, the biggest name, and I mentioned him a couple years ago when he was my bold prediction for Defender of the Year, is Warren Jeffrey. And when we had Brandon Hooten on the show, this is what he had to say about Warren Jeffrey.
He's a disciplined player that even when he takes a penalty, it's most likely a smart penalty. That he's coming in and saying, hey, this is what's going to be all night. You're going to run through the middle, we're going to hit you. Even there was a penalty against Georgia where I felt like he laid the boom on, I think it was Benedict, 86, and they put him in the box, and I was like, I'm good with that. It was right in front of me. I'm like, yeah, because you need to let that guy know that it's going to be tough for him. And after that first penalty or two, like, he's pretty much disciplined the rest of the game. And I think there are certain defenders in the league that are a little bit scared to take those penalties at times, and sometimes those are needed. And he's just that enforcer that, like, he's going to have Wardle's back no matter what. He's willing to fight. If he's not going to fight every night, but if there's a dude that wants to throw it down, like, he will take care of business. And that's why, like, when the Jack Hanna thing came about, I was like, do not trade Warren Jeffrey. Like, you look at everybody else on that roster, who else is willing to do all the things he's willing to do between blocking shots, fight for loose balls and rebounds. He scores in transition, I feel like, fairly often for what, he's asked to do.
So the reason I played that clip is Buffalo hasn't really gotten to the middle. Like, this is a team that has struggled to score on the outside, and their goals are kind of like like odd ones in front of the net, where it's secondary opportunities right in front of the net when Nanico can get in there. I think Warren Jeffrey's going to be able to contain them and not force them to the middle. You're going to have to find ways to get in front of Dylan Ward because he's one of those goalies that plays so far out. And I guess we can get into it with his numbers right now he's got an 886 or 889 goals against and it's 83 save percentage. You cannot just resort to those long shots because Dylan Ward plays out of his crease and he's going to limit those opportunities and he's going to limit those shooting angles. So it's going to be very interesting to see if they can get to the middle and pay the price with a Warren Jeffrey or Robert Hope back there versus a Dylan Ward who's playing lights out. So I am very concerned from what we've seen with this offense going against one of the best defenses and goaltenders that they've faced so far this year. They've already faced Georgia, who's like the number one right now. They got that out of the way in game 1 and scored 15. To me, now seeing what Colorado's got, this to me is their best defense that they faced all year long. So hopefully they were able to use this bye to their advantage and figure out what has been going wrong. And this is a big game for Josh Byrne, who has struggled in back-to-back games for like the first time in his career. If Josh Byrne's silent again, there's no chance Buffalo wins this game.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I think this is a massive Byrne game, and I still don't fully believe in him yet, but I want it to be a big Benesh game as well. But I feel like it's just the start to the season with his injury and with all these bye weeks. Like, I truly believe Benesh needs multiple games in a row, and you're going to see him really start to pick up toward the back half of the season. I feel like coming off a bye, off an injury, this isn't the game I expect him to show up for and be electric, but he's been so sneaky so far throughout the whole year. Like, he's been in the right position. He's taking that quick stick is lethal. He's hit so many posts. He's had so many unlucky ones. And then last game, he was dropping a lot of them. Like, if they can get him going where he can get that quick stick out and he just finds those soft spots in the defense, which is really good for, like, him and Buchanan on both sides are extremely good at like sneaking around, not really making a lot of noise, and all of a sudden he's right on the crease and there it is, like, quick
The
goal.
short
And I feel like
help.
yeah, it does. And those are the kind of goals you're going to need against Ward. Like, he is not as good moving back and forth. He's not as good. Like you said, if he's way out of his crease, you need a guy like on Dane Smith on one side, faking a hard shot, rocketing a pass to Benesh. Benesh catches it, quick sticks it in. Those are the kind of goals that are going to work really well against Ward. So it could be a big Benesh game because of his quick stick ability. And at the same time, Byrne, like you said, 6 points in his last 2 games. He needs to show up. I don't know what's going on with him. There's no panic alarms overall for the season. He still looks really good. I think he's still on pace for over 100 points. Like, he's not at the MVP offensive player of the year level we've seen in the past, but he's not crashing and burning down to absolutely nothing. But something's going on with these last 2 games where he's only put up 6 points. It's very, very rare for him to have 2 bad games, and we've already gone over it. The last time he had 4 points, last time he had 2 points in a game. Like, it's been a really long time. So something seems to be off, and it could just be the fact that his supporting cast is wildly different than he's had in the past. So last year, I feel like he was still scoring a heck of a lot of goals, but his assists were through the roof last year. This year, the secondary scoring isn't as lethal or as deadly, so it's harder for him to find those, and he's not scoring as much as he was. So I feel like you mentioned, I feel like it's going to be tough for him, but he's kind of the player that I need to be the X factor in this game as far as getting to the middle, getting to the crease. Like, I need him to go more one-on-one with players and become Air Byrne again like he was back in his heyday. Like, I feel like we just have he seems to have almost eliminated that from his game, which he's developed and matured as a player, and it's worked extremely well for the Bandits for a really long time. But I feel like he needs to go and be a little bit more selfish in the one-on-one game again. Like, he's taking a lot of shots from out far, which is good because they need a long-distance shooter, but I need him to crash the crease a heck of a lot more and find like just his old swagger that he used to have. Even some of the goals he scored recently were the game's out of reach, and he's scoring one with like a minute left in the game. So it's not even like he's getting that goal early on. So something seems a bit off with Byrne, and I think this is a game that he needs to be able to step up and say, like, I'm still here, and this is still my team.
Yeah, I'm just looking up one stat right here real quick. There it is.
But the secondary scoring, while you look that up, if you don't have it yet,
I do have it.
Cut me off.
Go for it.
But yeah, like McKay as well. He's a good guy who always gets inside pretty well, and he's one who's been doing a good job with the one-on-one battles, but he's got to stay out of the crease, and he's someone who also just needs to get going. And then Nanakoke needs to find ways to get inside. He's another one who's good at bullying defenders and finding a way inside. I love that he's shooting outside. I love that he's shooting more. I don't know if I sent it to you. I took a screenshot. I forgot who posted it. Sorry about that. But somebody posted recently the most accurate shots on goal of the year, and I think Dane Smith was up there, and then they posted the least accurate shots on goal, and Nanakoke was like number 2 in the league with like 40% of his shots are off target. But if he can get that a little bit more on target, but also just be that guy to be right in front of the net, crash dive a little bit, and again, that's how you're going to beat Ward, not with these distance shots.
Yeah, I was looking up a number for Josh Byrne because I wanted to be sure that I was right. The last 2 games, the 2 goals that he has scored, 1 in each, has been in the dying seconds where they're trying to make a desperate comeback.
Yep.
I think you need Josh Byrne to score early on in this game because he plays his best when he's feeling it. And if the shots aren't falling, I'm not saying that he's going to stop shooting because he doesn't. He's going to keep getting involved in the game. But when Josh Byrne is producing and beating the goaltender, he's playing at a different level. Like he's playing with that. I'm so much better than you. Just watch me play this game. He needs to score within the first 5-7 minutes of this game. And if he does,
just manufacture him a goal. Just find a way.
They need to draw something up to get him involved early because when the offense is flowing, Josh Byrne is flowing and having a good time. So you saw those last 2 games versus Rochester and Ottawa. The performance on the offense isn't looking good, and Byrne doesn't score until the final 2.5, 1 minute left in the game. So you got to get him a goal early. Somehow Dane and Josh got to connect on that quick stick or some kind of play to get him open and score early to make himself feel himself and just play better. But with the with our predictions here now, you in the BSC Pick'em, you took Colorado, I took Buffalo. People took Buffalo at 56%. I took Buffalo because I can't see them losing 3 in a row. I can't see it. And also, I'm not in a press box, so they're going to win because they're 0-3 when I'm in a press box. They're 3-0 when I'm not. So that's also factored in. And I know we're already over an hour in, but my question to you is, if Buffalo loses this game and falls to 3-4 on a 3-game losing streak, is it time to panic? And if it's not, what if they lose this game? Say it's a 14-13 game and the offense looks really good and it's just some goal that beats Matt Vince at the end. Would that make you panic, or is it a game like we saw versus Ottawa where they're only putting up 9 goals, or Rochester where they're only putting up 9 goals? Like, if Buffalo loses, is it time to officially panic with this team that said, not that they won't make the playoffs, but this is a team that might not be able to win the championship?
I feel like it's a extremely complicated question.
Agreed.
It shouldn't be, but like you said, like to me, it depends on the style of game. If they lose a high scoring game, I'm not worried because I trust the defense and Vince to bounce back. If they happen to have a bad game, the offense currently is what bothers me the most. So if they put up a big number against a defense and Dylan Ward that are playing like this, then I'm like, okay, the offense can do it against really, really tough competition. So that would calm my nerves about the offense, and then they just need to play together as a complete team, and I'd be okay with that. On the other hand, if they put up, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 goals, it's tough to panic because that's what Colorado's doing to everybody. So how can you say, like, okay, that's a bad game when that's what they're doing? But at the same time, like you just said, if you want to win a championship, these are the defenses and goalies you're going to go up against. You need to find ways to beat them with more than 5, 6, 7, 8 goals. So if the offense looks lost or doesn't look good and they don't score more than 8 goals, I wouldn't say it's time to panic. I would still trust Buffalo, but I would at that point say they need to make a move to bring somebody in to change this up because the offense is not doing enough to win games.
Yeah, that's how I see it, is if they lose a high-scoring battle, I'll feel better about the offense. It's more, even if they put up 9 goals, but the offense looks better and Dylan Ward, if they get goalied again.
On his head,
like Ottawa, they got goalied. Like, it's a fact, but the offense still didn't look right. Like, So that's a little bit different. If they put in 9-10 goals, but the offense is thriving and Dylan Ward is just playing unbelievable, like he's possible of doing, and we've seen it this year, I'll still feel good. But if they put up 8, 9, 10 goals and it's like 3 or 4 of the goals are right at the end where they're trying to play catch up, I'm gonna agree with you and go like,
that's all that.
Yeah,
that's all they can score.
I'm gonna say they have to go out and get a Joe Reseteris. They have to go out and get somebody to help this offense because the secondary scoring didn't step up, and like you were hoping for with losing Kluch and
Right.
Frazier. So that to me is what I'll feel if they lose. But currently I got them winning 12-11. So again, I'm not in the box, so that's why I'm predicting them to win. That's kind of how I'm going to do this now is if I'm in the box, they're going to lose. If I'm not in the box, they're going to win. So I got them winning 12-11. Are you sticking or are you heading your bet here?
I'm going to stick, and I could see them losing 11-9 in a tight game, but I think, I mean, if they win, it wouldn't shock me. I'll just say that. Like, I'm not like, whoa, there's no way Colorado's going to lose this game, but there's a lot stacked against Buffalo in this game, and I feel like it's going to be a lot to overcome. I know they're hungry. I know they need this win. I know they want the win, but Colorado's on a roll. You have to go out west. It's after a bye. You're on a losing streak. Like, there's a lot stacked against Buffalo in this game. If they win, wouldn't be shocked, but I could see them losing, and I'm going to lose a close one, 11-9.
We'll move on. Fastest milestone minute in all the land, and it's definitely going to be the fastest because there's only 3 here. All these possible milestones,
So
which
quick.
there's only 3. Well, it can be found on X and Blue Sky at Buffalo Sports Co. I'm screwing this up. Good thing there's only 3. We post them leading up to each and every game, so if you miss one and don't want to listen back, you can check for them there. Phil, you don't even have to watch the clock. This one's going to go super quick. Ryan Benesh is 3 assists away from passing Callum Crawford for 7th place in NL history, averages 2.71 a game. Ian McKay is 4 loose balls away from 700 for his career. He averages 6.57 a game. And Josh Byrne, for the 7th time, is still 1 cause turnover away from tying David Brock for 10th place in Buffalo Bandits history. He averages 0.48 a game. I think I've done that every single time.
About 20 seconds. Nice job.
Not bad,
Nice job.
because I took my time on that one. But yeah, 3 possible milestones that hopefully do happen, and then I'm back to 0, maybe? Maybe, question mark? I don't know. I have to look
0
for it.
would be interesting.
That would be a fun milestone minute. It'd be the fastest one I've ever done. NLL Week 10, we'll fly through these because we're almost an hour 10 into this. Friday, 9 p.m., Saskatchewan versus Calgary. We all took Saskatchewan. Every single person that voted on the poll took Saskatchewan, so we are 100% on Saskatchewan. That means Calgary's going to wipe the floor with them on Friday. But what's the number one thing that you're looking for in this one?
Yeah, sadly, I said there really wasn't much to watch in this one. Calgary's been a tough out all year long, but I just don't see Saskatchewan dropping this. They are way too complete of a team right now, and they are rolling, and I wanted to find something interesting, but it's just a really good team against a team that is up and coming but struggling.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if Calgary does bounce back at all. I do not expect them to win. I think Saskatchewan's going to win by 3 or 4, but I want to see what Calgary's bounce back
They
in
can hang in it.
After the Edmonton blowout and Josh Sanderson getting booted off the bench. Next game, Friday, 10:30. Philly versus San Diego for the finishing of the home and home. San Diego won last week. Everybody's taking San Diego people at 71%. What is your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, to me, all eyes continue to be on O'Rig's climb back to being a top goalie. He's had a few good games in a row now, so we know what he can do. We know how good he's been. He stifled the heck out of the Bandits offense in playoffs, so he's got it in him for sure, but his consistency is going to be a big key to San Diego getting back in that playoff race, and Philly just keep losing because the Bandits might need Joe Reseteris.
Yeah, Philly got a 2-goal buffer, so I'll allow you to score 12 goals, and then I'm still at my 10-goal maximum. But yeah,
Or
to
do you
me,
just keep stacking?
I agree with San Diego and O'Rig, but it also goes to the offense. Can they get more consistency on offense versus a team that allows so many shots on net? So this is another get-right game for San Diego to get them back over 500. Saturday, 6 p.m., Georgia takes on Halifax. 2 teams going in opposite directions. You took Georgia. I took Halifax. The people took Georgia at 70%. What's your thought on this one?
I don't trust Georgia at all, but Dobson is really, really good. Halifax did add a wicked first-round pick in 2028, I believe, so good for them. But they did lose some penalty minutes at the same time with Dawson Thie going out the window. So I am interested to see if that Halifax offense looks any different. You and I talked about it kind of back and forth. Like, I thought they needed to do something because they need more offense, but you said getting rid of Thie would kind of free up some other players and also free up the penalty box a little bit. So I am interested to see what the Halifax offense looks like. At the same time, you don't want to go up against Brett Dobson right now or ever. So to me, it's going to be just too much to overcome. I don't really trust Georgia's offense either, or their team all that much. And I don't know what it's going to take for me to ever truly trust Georgia, but I do believe in Brett Dobson, and he's really, really tough to beat.
Yeah, for Halifax, I want to see how much quicker this offense is, because as much as I love Dawson Thede, getting Mike Robinson back in that lineup with Will McLeod on that left-hand side, I think that offense is going to speed up quicker, and they're going to get off the field quicker. So I'm interested to see how Halifax offense thrives with Mike Robinson and Will McLeod in the lineup at the same time. Saturday, 7 p.m., Vancouver versus Rochester. This, to me, is one of the best matchups of the weekend. You took Rochester, I took Vancouver, the people took Vancouver, and a very close 53% of the vote. What's your number one option in this one?
Yeah, this one I said buckle up and enjoy. You got two powerhouse teams going at it. This is just going to be a really, really fun, great game of NLL lacrosse. I think it's, outside of Buffalo, the one to keep an eye on and the one to watch, but it's going to be, to me, Rochester's high-flying offense against Vancouver's really good defense and goaltending. Vancouver's offense, yes, they looked better, but I still don't fully believe that they're a great offense. We'll see what they can do, but Hartley and the Rochester defense have been known to be streaky and not that great either. So, to me, the bigger exciting matchup to watch is Rochester's really good offense against Vancouver's really good defense and Christian Del Bianco.
All I got to say is ditto. I have nothing else to add to that one. Saturday, 7 p.m., two 500 teams. Ottawa's 4-4. Toronto is 3-3. Nick Rose is still going to be out. We all took Ottawa. The people took Ottawa at 63%. What is your number one thing you're looking for in this one?
Ottawa and Toronto are both coming off really tough losses, and they're both sitting at 500. I guess I'll pose this to you in a second, but Toronto's veteran offense needs to get going. Ottawa needs to keep plugging away and not fall into a slump. But to you, which team needs this win more? I said I'm honestly just not sure who needs it more, but who do you think? I mean, they're both at 500. I know one has played 8 games, one's played 6 games, so that plays a factor if you want to look at standings. But in general, who do you think needs this victory more?
I'm saying Ottawa because they've played 8 games compared to 6 for Toronto. Toronto doesn't have Nick Rose. They have all the rookies, so they're kind of like in that weird position where they still have veterans where they can push for the victories and trying to make a run. But Ottawa's kind of like, you got to make playoffs here with Jeff Teat and Rob Hellier and the new coaching staff and GM. So to me, it's Ottawa because win or lose, their season's halfway done after this matchup. So you got to keep stacking the wins here. Saturday, 10 p.m., rounding it out, 2-6 Oshawa, 3-3 Las Vegas. You took Vegas. I took Oshawa. The people took Vegas at 67%. To round out the episode, Phil, what's your number one option to watch for in this one?
Oshawa is in a do-or-die situation kind of the rest of the season, but every single loss is at a premium right now, so they need to put together a complete game. They've given up 16 goals and then 9 and then 15 and 15 in their last 4 games. Even with that, Jameson's still sitting at a 79.7 save percentage. He's still playing really well. Their defense is still doing okay. They just can't seem to put the defense and the offense together in the same game, which is why they're sitting 2-6. We've seen this before from them. I think they need to find a way to put a complete game together. But as much as I don't love Las Vegas' team, I just don't trust Oshawa to do what they need to do to get the win. But they are by far the most desperate team in this situation.
Yeah, if Oshawa loses this one, they're done. Their season's over. I'm sorry. Mathematically, they're not done, but you will have played half your season and you're 2-7 if you lose this one. Even if you win it, playoffs aren't guaranteed and you're still going to have a heck of a run. But you pretty much have to go.
Doesn't sound much better.
You pretty much have to go 8-2 the rest of the way to guarantee yourself a spot. And you can go, 7-3 to go 500 and hope you sneak in. So That's why I took Oshawa, because they're in must-win territory. Vegas doesn't have to win, but it would be a very nice win for them, and one that you would like to stack a win there to get to 4-3 and kind of pull away from the teams that are below you. But full slate of games, all 14 teams are on the docket for Week 10, and this to me is going to be a week where we see who a lot of the contenders are, where some of the pretenders are, and where teams are kind of trying to figure out their way in a very, very, very crowded playoff field for this. It's going to be one of the best seasons we've ever had for the NLL. But Phil, anything else before we wrap it up for a little bit longer of an episode? We have so many topics to go over today.
No, I'm all good. Sabres are up 3-1. So
yep, and Detroit
keep
just
going.
tied at 1-1.
There you go.
We will round this one out by thanking everyone for listening to another episode of the Buffalo Sports Collective. Bills pretty much done for a while. We'll go over 2 games for the Sabres on the next episode, and we'll go over this game, win or loss, for the Buffalo Bandits on the Monday show. So thank you to Tap That Tap Room for sponsoring this episode and this podcast. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at Buffalo Sports Collective, and on X and Blue Sky at Buffalo Sports Co. Visit our website at buffalosportscollective.com. Follow our channel wherever you listen to podcasts, and make sure you leave us a review on Apple and Spotify. Stay warm this weekend. Brooke and I are going to the auto show. Maybe we can find her a new car. Maybe some discounts, promos, whatever it is. Have fun this weekend. Till next time. Bye-bye.